Good afternoon. You can type your USN in the group chat. We'll wait for a minute. Let the others also join. Then we'll continue with respect to our class. Okay, we'll start. Okay, let the others join. No problem, not an issue. So let them join. Yeah. So in the last class, we just discussed a few line coding techniques. The first one was unipolar. We'll just recap it, then we'll just continue with respect to our particular discussion. Okay. So just a recap. First one was unipolar. Unipolar. Why we need line coding technique whenever we want to convert a digital data to digital signal. We need to convert it. So for conversion, we require line coding techniques. Understanding it? The data is in terms of binary 0 1 1 0 or something like this. So each bit will be represented in terms of signal. So with respect to a unipolar, there is only one highest level, that is with respect to the maximum amplitude. Okay. So whereas with respect to your the other one, it will be going with the reference level. Reference level will be nothing but zero amplitude. Maximum amplitude, only one level. That is why it is called as unipolar. And in that, return to zero, non-return to zero. Return to zero is nothing but in between whether your particular application will be coming to the reference pointer or not. Before that particular entire time will be given, time will be fixed with respect to that particular signal, with respect to the data element that you want to transmit it. In that, anywhere your signal element in between changes its particular state, then we call it as return to zero. Unfortunately, we don't have that particular line coding technique in our particular syllabus with respect to your Unicode. Understanding it? Unipolar. Okay, so under unipolar, we don't have return to zero. See here, this is what it is. So with respect to 1, always it will be going with the highest amplitude. 0, it will be lying in the reference level. Okay. So whereas with respect to your polar, there are 3 flavors of that. One is non-return to 0, another one is return to 0, and the other one is biphase. In the non-return to 0, 2 flavors. Non-return to 0 with respect to level. With respect to level means 0 will be having or in your polar, what it is considering is it won't be considering the reference pointer. That is, 0 amplitude will never happen. It may go with the highest peak or lowest peak. Peak to peak, it may go with respect to it. That is peak amplitude plus A to minus A. Okay, so minimum is minus A, plus A is maximum. So this is how it will be working. Okay, so 0 always represents your highest peak. Okay, 1 always represents your lowest peak. This is how they will be analyzing, or they have just coded it with respect to your data that you are having or you want to transmit it. So with respect to non-return to 0 level, with respect to non-return to 0 inverted, so whenever a bit value is at the 0 level, it will start with the highest amplitude itself. Same thing, there is no change in it. After doing this, the next particular thing is 1. 1, it is a change. The data is changed from 0 to 1. 0 is different, 1 is different. So 1, whatever it is that, it will be just taking it to the same particular, that is lowest amplitude, it will just go with it. Next one is 0. That means the bit has been changed. But your inversion, what it says is, so previous 0, it was at the highest amplitude. Now it should be going with the lowest amplitude. That's what it says. So with respect to this, the next one is also 0 itself. So 0, since the bit has been not changed, the transition has not happened to that particular bit, the same value is repeated, then it will be lying in the same particular level itself. The signal level will be at the minimum according to this particular example. Minimum amplitude only it will be available. Whereas the next bit is 1. 1, it will be changing. So based on that, your alternatively, your 1 is there means it will be changing to this particular signal levels. Otherwise, it will be keeping it in the same particular direction. Why 0? Still the change has been happened from 1 to 0, but still 0 is taking with respect to the same particular, it is continuing. Why? The reason is before that, whatever the 0 that you have included, it was lying on the minus A amplitude level. So it need to change with the highest amplitude. Previously, if it was with respect to your highest amplitude, then it should be always coming with respect to the lowest amplitude itself. So this is how it will be working with respect to your non-return to 0 and level as well as inverted signals. Both will be having an average baud rate of n by 2. So where n is the number of signal element, sorry, number of data bits that you are transmitting to. Okay, so the next one was polar with respect to return to 0. Return to 0 means this is what. So it start with respect to polar non-return to 0. 0 always comes with the highest amplitude. Now it is going with respect to the lowest amplitude, and we will be considering one more particular scheme, that is reference particular signal amplitude. Also, we will be just taking it reference amplitude in the sense 0 level. So highest 0 level followed by lowest one. Lowest one is minus A. From minus A it starts your particular 0. It will in between, it will just go to the reference pointer, and it will be lying on that particular reference pointer for the rest of the time. This is the time duration that you are having it. This is the time that we are having. So this time, during this particular time, whatever the data that is coming, that data need to be transmitted. During that transmission, in between, it will just go to this particular reference pointer. If it is 1 month, it will come from the highest one, it will reach to the lowest one. So this is how it will be working with respect to your the polar return to zero scheme. Okay, so this is over. The next part is polar biphase, and the zero will be referring. So here no reference, that is it will go with the reference amplitude. Reference amplitude is totally neglected, highest as well as lowest. In between it will be transmitting. So from the highest to lowest, if it is going means zero. Lowest to highest, if it is transmitting means then it is one. So this is how they have just identified with respect to your biphase by the name called as Manchester encoding scheme. Okay, so whereas with respect to your differential Manchester is a reverse of it. 0 months it will go with low to high, whereas 1 month it will go with high to low. So this is how it will be just represented with respect to your Manchester and differential Manchester. So that's all with respect to our particular thing. Why it will be going in between, if it is going to the highest to lowest month, just for synchronization purpose. I told you in the yesterday's class. So that's this is what we have just understood with respect to your previous class session. So the next thing is we'll just see some details about your Manchester and differential Manchester encoding standards, and then we'll just go back to your we'll just continue with respect to your next particular scheme, that is bipolar. Okay, so minimum bandwidth of any Manchester or differential Manchester encoding technique, if you are having it, the minimum bandwidth always it will be twice that of the non-return to zero level or inversion. Whatever you are getting it will be twice that particular value. So always, why it is twice? Simple thing. So you have two signal elements to have or to transmit one single bit in a given amount of time. Understanding it? So that's why it will be twice that particular value. Okay. So this we have proved it with respect to your Nyquist theorem also. Same thing is reflected here. The next one is your bipolar coding. In your bipolar encoding technique, what we are having is we will be having three different levels. One is positive, another one is zero, another one is negative. So three levels of particular scenario will be having it. That is plus A, zero will also be considered, followed by minus A. So this is nothing but your bipolar schemes. So in the bipolar schemes, you have two different flavors or two different categories. One is called as alternate mark inversion, that is AMI. Another one is called as pseudometry. Okay, so we'll just see how this particular bits will be represented in terms of signal elements. Okay, so there is a graph plotted between your time and amplitude. Okay, so with respect to your AMI, that is your alternate mark inversion method, zero always has nothing to do with it. So it will be always going with alternate mark inversion. That's what the name that has been given over here. Okay. Zero has been nothing to do with it. It will be always lying on the same particular zero level. That is a reference level. Whereas one, if it comes means for the first time, it will always go with the highest amplitude. Next zero is that it will be lying on the same particular. Do nothing. Do keep it in the reference pointer itself. Reference pointer means so zero amplitude. You are going with the respect to time, but your time will be running, but you are not going to transmit anything. Your amplitude will be zero. Nothing to worry about it. Whereas if it is going beyond, if the next particular data bit is one, then whatever you have expressed previously with respect to the one bit when it has been arrived, that is, if it is from the highest to lowest, if you have achievements, then you need to go with lowest to highest. Understanding it? Lowest from that particular signal element, it will be just addressing. Next thing is if it is zero means should go with the zero level. If one is there means it will go with the highest level and it will be just transmitting that particular data. Understanding it? This is with respect to your amplitude, sorry, alternate mark inversion method. Pseudometry, just the opposite of this particular above. One, do nothing. Keep it with respect to the reference level. If it is 0, alternative 0, you change it. See here, 0 is that it should start from the highest one. 1 is that it should lie on the reference pointer. Next time, once again 0 comes, it should go with the lowest amplitude. So next one time, one more 0 is that, so it should start with the, it should go from lowest to highest. So next time, 1 is that it should lie on the reference pointer. 0, it has been started from highest, so next time is lowest to highest it may be. So this is how it will be varying with respect to your bipolar schemes. So all the schemes we have addressed it. So this is with respect to your levels as well as with respect to your number of data elements that you have and the signal elements if you have. So in M data elements with respect to the bandwidth, that how many bits that you can transmit it. That will be available with respect to your bandwidth B. And whereas N is nothing but number of signal elements. Signal elements in the sense how many horizontal lines that you will be having for that particular purpose. Understanding it. Last one is here level. How many levels that you have with respect to the representation of the signal. That is what it will be understand. So schemes in that particular pattern, if you are taking it, in which 2 to the power of m will always be less than L to the power of m. So where m is nothing but number of data elements, number of bits, you can say it. N is nothing but signal elements. So signal elements, and with respect to your particular data elements, why it is 2 to the power of? It is very simple. You are always going with 2 data elements, either 0 or 1, it can take it. So that's why. How many depends on this particular number. Level L to the power of n. So with respect to the level of the signal elements, n is nothing but signal elements, how much you have, how many signal elements you have, how many horizontal lines that you will be having, that many levels you will be just getting it with respect to it. So always your 2 to the power of m will be number of bits that you are transmitting will always be less than or equal to, yeah, total number of bits that you are transmitting will be less than or equal to level to the power of n. See, purely depends on your signal elements. Next one is summary with respect to your line coding schemes. Okay, this is with respect to digital to digital. Unipolar, non-return to 0 if you are having, always the bandwidth, we have seen it, n by 2. It is exactly half. The same thing with respect to your, it is not unipolar, it is polar. Polar with respect to non-return to 0 level. So with respect to this, the bandwidth will be n by 2 itself. Whereas with respect to your non-return to 0 inversion, same thing. But with respect to your biphase, there is a change because n by 2 into 2, that is twice that particular bandwidth you will be having it. So that's why it will be always equal to number of bits that you are transmitting in your biphase. Understanding it? So whereas with respect to your bipolar, it will be n by 2 itself. Unipolar, it is costly because no self synchronization. If there is a long run of zeros comes, it will be lying in the reference pointer itself. There is we will be not coming to know whether it is a bit that has been transmitted or somebody has asked you to wait for a certain amount of time. If the large amount of ones also, if it comes, if it is lying on the same particular amplitude level, then there is no change in it. So if it is no change happens, then it will be in the idle state. So that's what it will be thinking about it. So that's why, and in order to maintain this, one person will be always necessary to monitor it. So that's why it is costly. And it supports DC component. Whereas with respect to your polar, non-return to 0 level, non-return to 0 inverted. So both will be requiring your the same thing. Whatever we have seen it with respect to your unipolar non-return to 0. Same thing happens with respect to polar non-return to 0 level. Whereas polar with respect to non-return to 0 inverted, no self-synchronous. That means it cannot have the ability to synchronize by itself. What does that mean? Synchronization is with respect to the time. So within that particular time, if something goes wrong, it is not having anything because it is not returning anywhere in between. So it will be lying, the whole particular signal element will be on the same particular area itself. That means one has been transmitted, means if it is going from the highest level only, the signal element will be available. If it is 0 will be transmitted, if it is going with the lowest level of the amplitude, lowest level will be transmitted. So if something goes wrong in between also, it will be not captured over that. So whereas with respect to your biphase, it will be transmitted in between. In between, it will come back to your, it will change. The transition will be changing. So thinking that, so something will, the bit has been transmitted properly. If it goes from highest to lowest, then the bit has been transmitted. So that's what it will be just thinking about it. So that's why your biphase will be a self-synchronized one, and it requires highest bandwidth, because twice that particular thing that you need to have it. So that's why high bandwidth. Whereas with respect to your DC component, it is not available with respect to your Manchester and differential Manchester encode technique. And bipolar, once again, it remains the same as we have seen it with respect to your polar and unipolar non-return to zero. Understanding it? So that's all with respect to your digital to digital transmission. Any doubt with respect to digital transmission? If possible, I'll just send you a video how to represent each one of the particular technique when the data bit has been given at your particular point. Okay, I'll just send you that particular link. You just go through it once, and I'll give you one more particular assignment in the video link itself. You need to attend that particular problem and be ready with respect to your next class. Whenever my next class is there, during that period, you need to be ready with it. I can ask anyone to demonstrate. Okay, so I'll just send you the link by today evening. Okay, next technique. Okay, digital to digital. So how many data are we have? Two data elements, that is analog and digital. Now, how many signal elements we have? Analog signal, digital signal. So totally four are there, right? So the combination, I need to have four different types. One is digital to digital is over. Now I will be having the analog signal that should be transmitted through the transmission medium through digital data. Digital data conversion, I need to make it. How to do that? The other one is analog to analog conversion itself. As we have done it with respect to digital, analog to analog only we can convert it. Or else, last one is from the digital to analog, how it will be converted. So we'll just see one by one. So one after the other. So first one is over, digital to digital is over. Next one is analog signal is that digital data I need to convert it. How to represent, how to convert this particular thing. So for that, we need to understand two techniques. One is called as pulse code modulation technique, which is very familiarly known as PCM technique. Okay, pulse code modulation technique. The second one is delta modulation. Delta modulation is not there according to our syllabus. We will not talk about that particular delta modulation. Whereas pulse code modulation is very important, and it has been asked many times in the examination also. So that's why I concentrate on this particular topic. Okay, so this is, yeah, pulse code modulation technique, PCM technique. That's what we'll be saying it. This is used for analog to digital conversion. Any doubt? Okay, how this particular PCM technique is used. So you will be having an analog signal that has been derived at this particular end. That is, you'll be drawing an analog signal, sinusoidal wave. So this signal will be transmitted to your PCM encoder. What is this PCM encoder? Pulse code modulation encoder. There you'll be converting your signal to data. For that, encoder is required. So in this particular encoder, there are three different components. One is called as sampling. Another one is, second one is quantizing. Third one is encoding. Now we'll just see what is sampling. Okay, I'll just give you a simple example. Now to understand this better, I'll just give you a simple example. All of you are familiar with respect to your biometric devices, right? So especially with respect to your face recognition. Normally your mobile phone is also having some face recognition or fingerprint recognition in order to unlock or lock your mobile screen, right? Yes, we are all familiar with respect to it. So that's why. So what happens exactly? So first thing is you need to register it. Yes or no? So you need to register your particular face or your thumb, that is your any finger or iris, whichever has been used, you need to register it first, right? So That will be there. Hmm? That is the first thing. Second thing is, after registration, next time if it comes means, then it need to analyze, oh, the previous one, whichever the thing that has been taken into consideration, the same thing has been reflected now. The same action need to be happening now also. That means, yeah, you have used it for unlocking the screen, then you need to unlock it. If it is unlocked, then you need to use, if you are using the finger or your face or anything, then it should be locked. That's what the action that it will be taking, right? So now, how it will be done? First of all, how it will be recognized, whether your face itself or some other face, or your thumb itself, you have given it your finger, own hand finger, or somebody else hand finger. How to recognize this? For this, what it will be doing is, the first thing is, it will just identify some of the areas where it can get the data from it. That is called as, we are sampling. We are taking a part of that particular entire data. Entire data is your face. In that face, few features or few things is very important for me. That is eyes, nose, your ears, it may be, or else your chin, whatever it may be. So these are all the some of the point that is very important for me. Understanding it. So that particular thing, if I just pick it, that is called as sampling. Understanding it. I'm just picking some of the features, which is very important. Next thing is, I'll just model it. Using those points, I'll create a mathematical model saying that if you just apply this, then I may use the distance to calculate it. Using the distance, I'll be just adding, summing up all the particular distances, how far it is. Depending on that, I'll just add and I'll just give a mathematical model. I'll just represent, or I'll just save that particular data somewhere. That is nothing but here quantizing, normalizing. Lot of points are there. I'm just combining it to become a single particular data. That is what you call it as quantizing is all about. You're normalizing it. Once this particular data has been quantized, you have picked the data like this. So once it is done, it will be quantized. Once it is quantized, that means you are mapping it. So if this comes, this should happen. If this comes, this should happen. Like that, a particular matrix I have just generated it. So depending on this particular matrix, if this particular value comes, this is what the value that I need to address it. I'll just write the encoding technique. If the value is 4.1.1, then you identify that particular person as so and so, X person, something. If the value is 5.7, then you identify it as a non-human being. Understanding it? So that's how it will be just encoded. So depending on that particular encoding, your data will be actually presented. So this is nothing but your entire scenario of your PCM encoder technique. I have given you a simple example, that is your biometric identification. Why I took that example is, you are using it most oftenly, or you know something about it, so that's why I took that particular thing as an example. Now the same thing, what I need to do is, in your particular analog signal, when it is transmitted, I need to identify some of the data elements. That will be done by using your sampling. So you can identify the highest peak value that is available over here. Depending on those particular peak values, you can just get that result. So this is nothing but your sampling output. In this, what signal that you will be having it? It will be containing pulse amplitude modulation signal. What is that? Pulse amp. I don't want all these particular continuous signals that it is transmitting. What I want is a particular features or simple highest amplitude at the regular time interval. I need to pick it. That's it. So that's what I'm just doing it over here. So this particular signal, whatever the spikes that you are identifying it, that is called as pulse amplitude. Pulse in the sense where the highest amplitude that you are getting it. So in that particular thing, the modulation, that is changes. It is not that it will be remaining in the same particular amplitude. The amplitude is changing always. So it will be changing. So it is not that it will be always remaining, or it will be always there at the same particular area itself. So this is nothing but your amplitude modulation signal. Once this is done, it will be sent to the normalization part. Normalization will be done with respect to your quantization. So how it will be done, we'll just check it out. In the next slide, we'll be having it. Okay. So the last part is encoding. So your quantization after doing this particular symbols, then I need to use a notation where I can send that particular digital data. So that is nothing but your quantization and encoding is all. Okay. So how to represent it? First, we'll see that first particular block, that is sampling. Under that sampling, we have three different categories that it can sample the data. The first one is called as impulse sampling or ideal sampling. Why it is called as ideal sampling? Ideal sampling is exactly at the highest peak, I'll be getting that particular data, which is highly impossible. Which is highly impossible. Why? Have given this example oftenly. I'll just repeat the same example itself. Once you switch off the fan, wherever your regulator pointer is pointing to that particular speed, the same speed, once it starts, it will be rotating? No, right? It will take its action over a course of time. So that is not possible with respect to your ideal point of view. So we never get an exact point in any of the particular time sample that we have. And the time duration, whatever is available, it will be one and the same with respect to it. So between each particular time sample, say for example, between 10 points, I'll be picking one point. That's what your sampling is all about. So between every 10 points, I'll be picking one particular point from that. So this is nothing but your ideal sampling, which is highly impossible to factor. The next one is natural sampling. This is what we will be just concentrating on. And in the real world, this is the best suitable sampling technique that we can use it with respect to analog to digital conversion. What is this all about? Natural sampling. That means where your particular signal will be converted. So right from the, okay, if you switch off the particular light, it will not switch off immediately. It takes its own time. That's what it is happening with respect to this particular signal. So it is at the maximum level, say somewhat at 5 or 6 regulator speed level. If it is having maximum is 6 minutes, maximum speed it is having. It will not come down directly. It takes its own space. First, it will reduce it to the previous one. Next, it will reduce it 10 times, 20 times, like that. Then it may be given to the exact particular position. So this is nothing but your natural stuff. Highest amplitude it is that it will not directly come down. It takes its own time. So all those particular things are very important for me to analyze this. So that's why I'll just mention this as the sampling area. So clusters or samples will be getting it in one particular duration itself. This is your natural sampling. Here, I'll be just giving a particular data using the same time duration. The time duration between this will be one and the same. Only thing is the sampling area will be increased. This may be due to the noise that we are having it in the entire particular transmission medium or something else. Understand that? So because of it, you will be always getting this particular natural sample. Next one is flat top. It is as good as saying you are using the natural sampling itself, but this samples what it says, it will be changing its particular state gradually. It will not change it suddenly. But here, what we'll be doing is we'll just pick that particular highest peak point. From that particular peak point itself, we'll introduce some particular impulses or noises to which is an unwanted one, and we'll just stretch this particular time duration and we'll just come back to the original point where it need to be happening to. So this is nothing but your flat top. It will be working with respect to simple as good as natural sampling itself. But in the natural sampling, it will go along with the waveform. Whereas with respect to your flat top, it will be flatted around where you will be getting the highest amplitude level. Highest amplitude level, using that, you will be just getting this particular thing. Okay, this is with respect to your 3 different sampling methods that is used for your PCM technique. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt? So 3 different techniques of the sampling. I'll just repeat it. Ideal, which is nothing but I'll be exactly getting that particular feature at that particular time duration itself. In a one single duration, I'll be just getting it. That's highly impossible. As good as saying, if you switch off the fan, suddenly it will be stopped. Stop to um, stop its pointing. That's what it says. But it is highly possible. That's what your ideal point is. Natural sampling, it takes its time. It will not directly come down immediately. So what it will do, it will take its own time. While taking its time, it will continue, it will just gradually from the 5 speed, it will go with the 4 speed, then it will come with the 3 speed, then it will go with the 1 speed, then it can get it. This is what it will be happening with respect to you. This is what it will be happening with respect to your natural sampling. Whereas flat top, flat top is nothing but wherever you are reaching to the highest amplitude level, from that, I'll introduce one more particular noise so that it takes care about the rest of the time duration, whatever the time duration that you're giving it, that will be taken care with respect to it. Then suddenly it will be coming to the understand. But this is nothing but yeah, picking up the samples. So here in this particular area, our sample will be present. So anywhere in between, our samples will be present. For our discussion, we'll always take the ideal sample. Okay. For our complete discussion, we'll be always taking that ideal sampling of data. So during the ideal sampling, between this particular spikes, you'll be always getting a same duration of time. Understanding it? Time duration should be one and the same. There is no change in it. That's all. The rest of it will continue in the next class. Our next classes, as already sent a message that my next class will be on Saturday, 12:30. Okay, so we need to finish off this particular PCM as well as transmission modes in that particular class. If we finish off it, almost half of the or 3/4 of the second module will be complete. Okay, so thank you very much for your patience listening. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me. Otherwise, we'll just wind up the class. No doubt. If you have any doubt, you can ask. If you don't have any doubt, then I'll just end this meeting. Another 1 minute is left. Tomorrow, I won't be explaining all these particular concepts. That is next class. Sorry, tomorrow means next class. I won't be explaining all these concepts. All these concepts, I'll just recap it in one particular single 1 minute or 2 minutes. I'll just take it. Then I'll just move on to the next quantization and encoding technique with respect to your PCM module. Any doubt? Am I audible? Hello? Any doubt? No. Okay, we'll just wind up this meeting. Thank you very much.